Hi guys, welcome to Banker 365. In this video, I'll be talking to you about the banking consolidation that happened last week and its importance, its significance, and its pros and cons and the concerns related to it, which is very important for your UPSC preparation. And this topic is also important for the general awareness section, that is in your RBI exams or your SBI or your IBPS PO. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed to Banker 365, then please subscribe and help the community grow. So, last week, the Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman announced that 10 public sector banks will undergo amalgamation and form 4 new entities. So, why is this important? Why is it important to amalgamate banks to make them bigger, and why is it necessary? The answer is there are two reasons for it. Okay, so first reason being, India is experiencing an economic slowdown because the last quarter, it was the growth rate was just 5%. So to help the economy and to tackle the economic slowdown, the amalgamation of banks was necessary. And secondly, the Prime Minister on the 15th of August, in his Independence Day speech, said India is looking to become a $5 trillion economy by 2025. And he also said every Indian is a stakeholder in this growth, which means the Prime Minister is explicitly mentioning that every sector, including banking, automobile, textile, every sector has to contribute to become a $5 trillion economy. So let's look at India's current position in the global market, in the global state in terms of GDP. So according to the IMF, based on nominal GDP, India stands fifth largest economy with $2.9 trillion, just behind Germany with $3.9 trillion. The world is led by United States of America with $21.3 trillion, and it is followed by China with $14.2 trillion. India, the aim to become a $5 trillion economy, is mostly competing for the third place in the world on a global stage. So amongst the major steps taken by the government to make India a $5 trillion economy, one such step is the big bank mergers. Now, what is a merger? Well, we all know merger is like it is nothing but consolidation of two or more entities into one large entity. So there are various types of mergers also, like vertical merger, horizontal merger, conglomerate merger, etc. The merger that the banks have undergone is horizontal merger, in which institutes or companies of the same sector are consolidated to become a larger entity. Well, let's look at why the merger was important, or is it actually important, and if so, why? Well, if you look at this, the tweet by Mr. Rajiv Kumar, the finance secretary, he himself pushes for $5 trillion economy. He says PSBs for $5 trillion economy. So this is a major push by the government and the bureaucracy to make India a $5 trillion economy by 2025. So if you look at other agendas of the government, it also aims to reduce the cost of doing business. It also wants to bring down the burden on the government by reducing the need for financial infusion. If you remember, before last week, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman infused about 70,000 crores into the public sector banks, which is a burden on the government itself. these mergers do not expect the government to do this financial inclusion step. It can be avoided provided the banks can sustain themselves. The merger will also help the smaller banks to avail the technologies that is available only with the larger banks comparatively to the smaller banks. Now, if you look at the merged banks and their business sizes closely, here you can see the CBS, which is the core banking softwares like Finacle, iFlex, banks which are owned by Infosys, Oracle, and TCS respectively. These are the technologies that can be used by the smaller banks like United Bank of India, Andhra Bank, etc. Now, after the amalgamation of these banks, now, in terms of business sizes, Punjab National Bank has become the second largest public sector bank with a business size of about 18 lakh crore, whereas SBI with 52 lakh crore still leads as the top public sector bank in India. So this list of second, fourth, fifth, seventh, the third being Bank of India, or the third largest bank, the Bank of Baroda, which was amalgamated earlier with Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank. So this list is very important factual information as far as the general awareness questions concerned in your banking exams, because these might be asked. Post consolidation, the number of public sector banks has been reduced to 12 only. Well, with any merger, there are some advantages and drawbacks. If we are to look at some of the advantages and drawbacks of the merger that happened, we can say the advantages are the NPAs can be brought down to some extent, and the public sector banks will improve their efficiency and service delivery, and the exchange of softwares like Finacle, iFlex, etc. can be done with the smaller banks. So, if we are to look at the drawbacks, the major drawback can be the repercussions when a big bank loses or crumbles in the economy. Also, if we can say the problem of accommodating the top leaderships of various banks will also be a problem, and effects of merger will affect the presence of smaller banks in their local vicinity. So, if we are to take a stand on the amalgamation that has happened, we can say that the banks, for the right reasons, if they are merged with the right banks, and if it does not affect or does not get affected due to competition, then amalgamation or mergers are a welcome step. So I hope the steps taken by the government and the finance ministry helps the country become economically stronger and propel the country to become a $5 trillion economy. I hope this video helps you a lot, and I hope you have understood and will use these information in your answer writing in your UPSC exams. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share, and do subscribe to Banker 365. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, cheers and happy learning.